So let's talk about the rat year in 2020. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you're feeling well, and we are indeed moving toward a shift in Chinese zodiac year. And I love talking about the Chinese astrology because I think that it works really well with the natural system and with the biological system, where we are not celebrating the new energy at the wrong time and the ending energy at the wrong time. Even though the Chinese New Year is flipping over a touch early this year on January 25th, we will technically start rat year. It is still really poignant and really important, and I have been really seeing some big changes come in with the energy ever since about mid-December. It's really been starting to transition. So as some of you know, the true new energy doesn't come until around March 21st when the sun goes into Aries. So the full energy of what this year cycle has to give us will not be super clear until then. But according to the Chinese system, January 25th is a turnover point. So I really think that the time between about really like January 1st and March 21st is like the transition point where we've had a shift and we're dealing with the echoes of the energy on both sides. Yeah, we've come from a pig year in the 2019 year cycle, which is the 12th in the Chinese astrology. So it's the last sign. It's sort of like a Pisces in Western tropical and Vedic astrology. It's like the Pisces energy, but also similar to the Scorpio energy. And we have finally starting completely from scratch with moving into rat year. And something that we do really have to take into account as we're moving into this year is that we're moving into much more youthful energy. We're moving into a 1 numerologically. We're moving into 1 energy. We were in 12 energy, which is also the energy of 3. So we were really working on the highest level of consciousness. We were working from our own utopian ideals. We were working to make things really subtly perfect and find this sort of fidelity within our lives that exhibited our own like really high philosophical levels. Okay, we were working on that throughout all of 2019, and as we shift into 2020's year energy, it becomes a bit more simple, honestly, and it becomes a lot more just further down. And I don't mean this in like as in like it's lower vibrational or lower entity. There's a sense with rat energy of just sort of being in first person, sort of being thrust into an experience and navigating through and moving through. I've talked already a little bit about how rat is kind of a navigational energy. It's kind of about instincts and about instinctual navigation. It's about moving through, making progress, and sort of instinctually knowing the direction that you need to go. So if you've really developed over 2019 this sort of like indecisive jaunt, or this like not really being able to see things from every single perspective, really taking time to think in every perspective about the decisions you need to make, basically becoming a very strategical person, that doesn't so much serve you anymore in the rat year. And I've been talking a lot one-on-one with people about this, where it's like, how can you healthily sort of transition into a new level of perspective and find the path that you need to get on, sort of the linear focus path, and really just step into that. This is definitely a year where it's more about progress and just getting things done. It is kind of about getting our hands dirty, and I mean that in a positive way. Like if there are like messes all around us, or if there are like loose ends that are not tied, this is the time where those get tied up. This isn't the time where we're strategizing how to tie them up or planning. It's not so much a planning energy. The last 2 years actually have been a lot about planning, a lot about strategy, a lot about accounting and budgeting. And then this year becomes more about the carrying out of those plans, the spending of that budgeted money or the spending of that budgeted time, in a creative way as well. Rat year does deal with creativity to a degree. We're not talking about high, lofty philosophical creativity, but we're talking about quick creativity, quick reactions, reflexes. Rat year is about speed, energy, quick motion. Again, not sitting on things so much, not hyper analyzing things so much. There's sort of an action-oriented, again, kind of Aries energy that comes in, because again, this is a 1, this is an Aries, this is a Mars energy. So it can also be a bit reckless in that way. And if you think of the rat as an animal, it's a quick-moving kind of, it's not a very scared or timid creature. It's kind of very out there and blunderous and moves around. Also, politics will just be a crazy show this year. I know it's like an election year here in the US, so it's like, oh my gosh, it's just going to be chaos, I'm sure. Not to project, but I think that power structures will definitely undergo a new type of orientation, as well as be seen more cheaply or seen without as much value as previously. So rat year does devalue things. It makes things, especially power dynamics and control dynamics, these things become more undervalued. And it doesn't mean, it's not talking about whether they actually have value or the merit truly of things. It's sort of about perception. People can be really quick to be hateful in a rat year. So people can be really indulging on things. Especially during the transition time of pig year to rat year. So even as far out as from like January 2020 to like June 2020, it can be very indulgent, because if you think of rats, they're also like they hoard, and they need like a lot of things. They save things. They eat. They want to like always be eating things, and they're like saving up for something that's bad. So I sense a lot of like pack rat nature, a lot of hoarding, a lot of like hyper saving of money. And then also indulging in like hateful rhetoric towards other people, indulging in like, what do you indulge in? And to make it more personal and less collective, coming into the beginning of rat year, it's really important to think about, what are my indulgences? Okay, what am I binging? Sometimes the appetite is really strong during rat year, especially coming from pig year. They're both indulgent signs in the Chinese astrology. They're both signs that deal with a lot of consumption and a lot of eating and a lot of, even like frivolity as well. So we have to kind of watch out, because the nature of frivolity changes from pig year to rat year, but it remains an energy line. So maybe whereas in pig year we were like frivolous, maybe we like had really high expectations and we had to buy like the best clothes or buy like the shiny new car or, eat at the expensive restaurant. And then in rat year, that changes more so to being frugal in those areas, but becoming very frivolous in the mind, or becoming very frivolous in the attitude or the communication pattern. Cryptic communication, I've already seen, is a huge thing with rat year. And I see this through like a technology too. Less grammatical correctness. I mean, that's been a case for a long time, but it's going to come to like a new level of almost like new languages emerging around being cryptic or being hidden or trying to convey toxic messages through like undecipherable, illegible means. This will be a thing that comes up in rat year. So how to counteract that is to find proper tradition, okay? Tradition is a really good way to offset the qualms of the new year. And it is possible to go a little bit too far with that too, like, because rat year does demand a new turnover or a new way of living. But it's one of those energies to me that you can't like embrace too wholeheartedly or reject. And this is what we've really been working with since about 2017, is finding the middle ground and finding the sweet zone, the golden zone of experiences. So it's really going to test that ability that we should have really been working on for about 3 years now, of not having to completely reject something, but not having to let it dominate every aspect of your life. Discernment, discretion. These are good things in a way during rat year, as long as they don't become an addiction to being analytical or an addiction to strategizing. You want to kind of watch out for being too strategic right now. And this is an interesting message, because I think that a lot of us have gained really good strategic ability or really good planning ability. But I'm just getting this intuitive feeling that that can really consume a lot of our energy, and the things that we're planning out then suffer on account of the energy being spent in the planning process. So it's not to say that we need to lose quality, because that's another thing that I'm discovering about rat year, is there's a quality issue, okay, with merchandise or manufacturing or food supply. That's a big one. I just got major chills when I mentioned food. Which I will go into here in a second, but quality of what you are allowing into your life, the quality of what you're creating needs to go up this year. Okay, that's a great way to offset the energy, is to introduce quality into your life and to make it an important fixture in your life if you can, all right? because without individuals who are willing to create true quality during this time, really the planet can suffer truly at a collective level when it comes to quality. And we can almost forget what a quality article of clothing is, or what a quality meal is, or what a quality job or career is. There can sort of be a big collective evolution, transformation when it comes to values relating to quality. We can start to really settle for a lot less, because they're within the rat archetype, when we're talking the more difficult aspect of it, there is the combination of desperation and settling. Desperation to eat, desperation to consume, desperation for shelter, desperation for general needs. And then once it's found, it's settled for, even if there's something a lot better just a little bit further down the road. So this is the difficult aspect of rat year. But there are, of course, positives, which I will go into here in a moment, like great, incredible positives, because that's the nature of archetype, is they have, yin and yang equal amounts of good and bad, and a little bit within each. But I really challenge you individually, and I'm going to challenge myself individually as well, to create quality and to create things that are, and offer things that are worth their value, and try to up my level of quality to offset that energy, because there's an ability to also really create really good quality if you can just see that that's what humanity is partly about. And it's not about money. It's not about economies. It's not about other people. It's just about the creative ability. And rat year does hone and emphasize creativity. But again, it's not a planned strategic creativity. It's an automatic sort of first person, what do I want to say? Immersive creativity versus planned creativity. So any creatives out there, or anybody who is entrepreneurial, business oriented, there's opportunity for great payout here, true. But truly there's opportunity to redefine quality and to redefine creativity as well. And if you can think less about like money, or less about financial gain and more about creating quality. I mean, it sounds very simple, doesn't it? But you'd be surprised about how this is kind of being forgotten right now. If you can really start to think about it, especially like as soon as possible, February, March of 2020, you'll be surprised at the rewards you can get just by aiming for quality and not aiming for ease, okay? There's a lazy energy between especially pig and rat year transitional period, where we can think, okay, how can I make this as easy as possible? How can I work as little as possible? And that's not all bad, because some people truly are overworked and need to work less, or need to have more time to themselves. But if you're in a creative area, or if you're pursuing career, or even pursuing relationships, you can apply work to anything. We work on our health, we work on our relationships, we work in our careers. Truly, as we move into rat year, working less is not the best way to think about it, because again, you're going to be strategizing from a point of view of like cleverness, and a point of view of something that's not really great to hone into. So it's really just about doing what is necessary, striving for quality, and letting it fall into place. You'd be surprised at how supportive the universe is during a year like this, because again, the whole idea of strategies, planning, being super artificial or super analytical, demographical within your thought process, it's like it's a null, and it's odd in this year. So the universe kind of sets those things into place to naturally work, instead of you having to like manually go in and figure all of that out. So just strive for quality, and things will really fall into place. Also, a really big thing to work on and solve here is procrastination. Okay. I should make a video specifically about procrastination, but basically procrastination happens when you're in the wrong place, and when you're putting all of your energy into something that is not like well formatted for you, or is not truly authentic to who you are. It's not a laziness thing. It's just it's a sign that you are energizing something. It's like getting blood from a turnip, basically. So, if you find yourself procrastinating this year, it's a great sign that it's time for something else, or it's time for a change, or also that the health is not working well. I'm going to talk about health here in a second, but solving procrastination is a like a ticket to an affluent and abundant and aspirational life, a happy life. Okay. If you want to be happy, if you want to be wholesome, if you want to be stable, just solve procrastination and solve delays and solve any thoughts of trickery or like, how can I do less to get this done quicker? We want to, what do I want to say? We want to optimize, but we don't want to cheat, basically. So this is an important thing, is optimizing without cheating and optimizing without, while still being true to your own values, and learning that quickly, because sometimes it's not so clear until hindsight. So coming out of the pig year and until about March, you might really be able to look back at something and you might be able to see, okay, that wasn't really the right place for me, or that really wasn't what my energy was meant to do. Now I can learn and start to work more in my authenticity here. And it's really important to allow that and to take the lessons too, because we have until about March to really think about lessons and to think in that higher consciousness that the pig year did give, because that will remain a bit, and then really prepare to like jump in and step into the Fool. Again, it's sort of like a Fool energy in the tarot, where it's like new beginnings, moving forward. Maybe there's not so much experience in the field that we're moving into, or maybe there's not so much experience in this territory. So we just have to do, and we have to let ourselves have that process. So let's talk a little bit about health in the rat year for those of you who are very health oriented right now. And yeah, rat year is a health year for sure. So was pig year to a degree. I mean, pig year should have been a really, really great opportunity to at least identify if there were any health problems, or to feel that your body wasn't satisfied, or to feel that something was amiss. And hopefully you were able to heal some of the pieces and start to give back to the deficiencies. I talked a lot, like all through the year of 2019, about how deficiencies were really clear. And if there's something that you don't have enough of, malnutrition, anything like that, that should have become really obvious. And at least hopefully you have started to build a foundation when it comes to health. Because let me say that rat year is not a super lucky health energy, because on one hand it's very tough and it's very sturdy, because rats can kind of survive in very difficult, harsh circumstances, but at the same time they tend to be quite unhealthy creatures and quite like disease carrying creatures. So that's a bit of a paradox with this year, where you can see that a very unhealthy environment is very survivable, but not optimum. So people also poison rats. So we are going to have a lot of collective understanding that there are a lot of poisons in our diets, or a lot of poisons around us that are needing to change. And the great thing about rat year is that we can really detect that and move forward and change that and strive for quality, as I was saying. And it's nobody's fault. This is another thing. Like, it's not about like, oh my gosh, the government is doing this, or oh my gosh, these people are trying to poison me, or oh my gosh, people are out to get me. That's a really bad point of thought for the rat year, because again, that's an indulgence. Okay, it's an indulgence in thinking poorly of other people, and pushing people to some certain standard of being bad when you don't really know them, unless you do know that you were like someone tried to poison you or something and you have like proof of that. That's different. Not that would happen, but my point is that wash off your vegetables well, get the pesticides off of them, buy organic, try to really pay attention to the things that are in the food that you're eating. Pay close attention to the medicines or the vitamins that you're taking. There are sort of like, and this is a big thing for rat year when it comes to health, relationships, life, all of it. It's like these little things, these little ingredients, it's almost like a scorpionic energy, except it's not as like intelligent or like conniving. It's these little things that push things over the edge. Okay, these little, small, almost negligible problems that can really be like the straw that broke the camel's back. And how do we overcome that? We overcome that with love, okay? And teaching ourselves and understanding in ourselves what love is, because it inevitably demands us to love ourselves. Because this is a year where the absence of self-love takes you from maybe something that's like cute and cuddly to something that is appearing like vermin, okay? And I'm using the general you. It's something that's really easy to offset, and something that's really easy to overcome just through love and through operating through love and that starts within. That starts with treating your body well, and it starts with having enough within to give back to other people, and identifying where you've gone wrong too, and letting those changes start to take place. And then as you come through those processes, you are giving back to your loved ones, and you are giving to your elders, and you are giving to but you're not giving from an empty balance, okay? And this is the important thing. You're not just giving for the sake of giving because you're karmically indebted to give. It's because you have allowed yourself to release too. You've allowed yourself to let go of the problems. You've allowed yourself to let go of the past and to start pursuing what you love. And through that, there's abundant energy with which you can give to the loved ones around you, to the creative project, to the just to the ability to step into the Fool, into your life, and move and love and experience. Okay, so it's experiential here. Again, it's not about knowing beforehand. It's just about experiencing, and hopefully experiencing through love, and finding yourself as that sort of cute, lovable, adorable person through being lovable, and through being adorable, and through being kind, and not finding yourself as a poisonous, toxic type of vermin that everybody is out to sort of trap or get away or fearful of because you're doing something, you're lurking in the shadows, or you're feeding off of things that are unhealthy and toxic or disease-ridden. You know what I mean? This is the differentiation between rat year, the rat energy. We don't like rats, okay? We are quite afraid of rats. Rats are something that humans are naturally averted to, and there are a few creatures like this in the Chinese system. There are snakes, there are rats, there are different things that evoke fear and that people are not naturally very harmonious with. And this is one of those years where people are not necessarily understanding of the energy and have ascribed a certain type of reaction to it because it is something that can be either quite cute and adorable or quite problematic and fearsome. So you're choosing sides now. We're choosing sides. And without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and check out some of the tarot messages about the rat year and what it indicates, what it brings forward. I'm just getting the tarot deck out of the bag here. So I just want to see one card about moving forward into this year and understanding what the rat energy has to offer in the Chinese system, and what really like positive higher archetypes can we work with to move through this energy in like in a highly evolved and loving way. This is what I want to understand for this year. So I'm just shuffling. And what is coming out is, okay, so it's justice. I'm going to get one more because I want to understand more clearly what that's saying. So justice is coming out. Very interesting, definitely. Justice. And the Hierophant. Okay. Interesting combination of energies. Similar archetypes. Things that look alike. Things that look very similar but serve very different purposes. We have justice and the Hierophant. So we do have the implementation of karma and the turnover of karma as well this year. So moving into a new karmic system, cell turnover, sort of understanding where we've gone wrong, where we've gone right, reorienting and restarting. So this year is a reorientation year. So there's an opportunity here with this combination of archetypes to redo everything, to move, to change career, to find a new family, to meet new people, to emote differently as a person. But you can't leave everything behind. Okay, and there's going to be maybe a temptation to leave things behind. But the thing is that the veil is thicker with the Capricorn energy that we have, and we have to remember that in the transiting planets, we have the very mature, very karma, justice, and power figure orientation of Capricorn energy. Despite it being a rat year, which is very youthful energy, transiting, we have very mature energy. So again, this is the choice. This is the moving past indecisiveness and operating youthfully but maturely, finding that middle ground, finding that integration. So people do get what they deserve during this time. Or others may also be really quick to punish. There may be like a punishing energy about with the justice, or the way that I'm understanding justice and the Hierophant together is like more moral justice, like even, societal types of justice systems where it's not just about what you've done, it's about how you act or how you look, which can be another part of a rat year. Do you look the part? Do you act correctly and morally correctly? There might be rules or obligations that come out relating to society and the way that we speak and the way that we appear and the way that we present ourselves. But also positively, because I think that it's really important to understand the new energy with this year. Both of these are major arcana, and both of these are very red cards and very powerful authoritarian cards. So we can all have strong power and authority over our own lives and connection to source and connection to spirituality in our own way. But it will be really important to be doing things in an above board and well maintained and well sustained, well optimized, tested, resolved way. So status quo, even a bit of historical or traditional values are going to be an interesting thing to see offset in this year too, because of all the Capricorn energy. Because what I see by these major arcana cards is such Capricorn energy, it's such Saturn energy, and it offsets the new and revitalizing energy of pig year. So I'm sorry, rat year, but we are still in pig year as I'm recording this. So and we will still feel the effects of pig year until around I would say later March at the earliest it will subside. But it will be less and less connective. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here. This video has gone on for quite a long time now. Keep just and keep your prayer and your spirituality and your want to keep your life well and beautiful, keep that strong, because that will happen if you're just getting into that, and if you're just staying strongly placed within that. What you think about really manifests easily in a year like this, because again, it's not about strategizing, it's not about a separation so much of the mental space and the physical reality. Now that becomes more congruent, so keep that in mind. And I will hope to see you guys soon. All of my links will be in the description box below if you wanted to book a private reading with me, or if you wanted to check out my ebook, Moon Symbols, that will be there. And thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. And I have a lot of faith in humanity and a lot of faith in society, really hopefully thrusting themselves into more love and connection. So I'll be talking to you guys soon. Much love. Bye.